Hey guys, it's Jay Riley here. I'm the entertainment editor of the Radionian. Today we're taking a look at the Amos Deason home. If you look to my left, and I can get a close-up real quick, you can see that it was built in 1845, and it is actually a haunted landmark. Alright, so tonight we are here at the Deason House, one of the haunted attractions in Ellisville, Mississippi, supposedly one of the most haunted places in America. Today we're here with Frances Murphy, and she has been touring us around this house, and I get a really funny vibe about this place. It's definitely haunted in my opinion. So tell me which room you think is the most haunted.
This is probably the room that bothers me the most. I have been in here by myself, and I smell an overpowering smell of blood in here. I've also gotten feeling like there was something pushing down on my chest. I couldn't get a good breath. This is the room that Major Amos McLemore was shot in back during the Civil War. Newton Knight had deserted from the Confederate Army, and Amos McLemore lived in East Butchie, and he was a major in the Confederate Army, and he was sent down here to round up the deserters. And so he was a friend of the Deasons who owned this house, and they allowed him to stay here while he was down doing his mission. And he was not having a lot of success. He and his men had come in, and they were trying to figure out what they could do differently in order to get the band of deserters rounded up. And the night that it happened, the major was sitting in here in front of the fireplace, and Newton Knight came up. The door that is to the bedroom was actually an outside door, and he looked in the windows, and he could not get a clean shot of McLemore. There were several of the men in here. And so he walked around and threw the door open and shot McLemore. And McLemore fell right here on the floor and bled and bled. And they could not get the blood stain up. They would scrub it and it would be gone. And the next time they would look, the blood would have risen back up, and they would not be able to get rid of it. And they scrubbed till they almost scrubbed the floor through, and they finally just covered it up with another floor because they didn't like seeing the blood on the floor.
Well, I read this online article a few days ago when I found out we were coming here, and it was about these paranormal investigators that visited the house, and they did a lot of EVPs and everything. And there's this one guy, he said he was sitting in the room of the murder, and he felt a push on the back of his head. Have you ever experienced anything? Has a spirit ever touched you or came into contact with you in the house?
I have not been touched. I have watched a rocking chair rock with nobody in it. That's in the front parlor. I've just seen it just rocked and rocked all by itself. I have seen shadows, I've seen weird things, I've heard sounds, but I've never actually been touched. Now, a friend of mine has actually gotten scratched twice. She would go home, and when she was getting undressed, she would notice that she had whelps on her, and evidently they don't like her. But I've never been touched.
What do you think, we'll experience anything tonight?
You just never know. You just never know.
Well, for the sake of the viewers out here, we certainly hope so. Well, she's going to tour us around the house and show us the different rooms and the historical value of each of them.
The house is owned by the Tallahassee chapter of the DAR, the Daughters of the American Revolution, and the ladies have done most of the work in here. And one day the ladies were scraping the walls to get down to the wood so that they could repaint. And they were just joking around, and one of them said, do you like what we're doing to your house? And she happened to be up on the scaffolding at the time, and she said she felt hands just grab her by the shoulders and shove her. She ended up on the floor with a very hurt back. So things do happen in this room. The rocking chair right behind you, I have myself witnessed that chair rocking all by itself. And my daughter was sitting in that chair, and she got pinched. So evidently that chair belongs to one of the spirits. Some of the ghost hunters that have come here say that there are actually 3 children, and that they like to play in this room. And kids that used to go to the elementary school, when the 9th grade academy was the elementary school, they would see little children looking out these windows. And they would ask their teachers who the children were. And of course, this house was empty. There were no children living here.
So we have a strange discovery. There's actually a ball, and I know it's not in here from the 1800s or any time period like that, but they have brought a ball in here, and apparently the children play with it. I'm going to let her elaborate just a little bit more on this.
That ball rolls all over the room and sometimes even all over the house. You might leave it in this corner, and then the next time you come in, you'll find it in the other corner, or vice versa, or catty corner across the room. And we think it's the ghost children playing with it.
You want to kind of explain what these are?
This is a picture of Newt Knight. He was the man who supposedly shot Major Amos McLemore. He was the deserter from the Confederate Army. And then this is Major Amos McLemore, and he is the man who was shot in the murder room, in the bedroom that we were in a few minutes ago. He was shot in 1863, and that's 150 years ago this year. So this is the 150th anniversary of the shooting. We know of at least one body that was laid out in here when Mr. Anderson died. They laid him out in this room because at that time they didn't have funeral homes. You had your funeral at the house. And so they laid him out. They would put ice under the body so that it would stay fresh. And that was done in this room. Things that have happened in this room, mostly things that I've heard of would be hair pulling. Like some of the ladies that were working in the house, they were looking down this hallway, and one of them saw a lady, a full-bodied apparition. They said they could even see the detail in her clothes. They could see the weave of the fabric of her dress. She was wearing a gray long dress, and she walked into this room, and then she walked through that door into Ma's bedroom.
You know, there are lots of things that go on here. I have seen and heard things that I have absolutely no logical explanation for. So this place definitely, there's something here. I firmly believe it. Now, I've been on the front porch and I have seen shadows in the yard. I've heard people walking in the yard, got up, went out there and looked. There's nobody in the yard. Jenny Anderson died, and I think she died in childbirth, and they had her funeral on the front porch, and her favorite flower was gardenias, and sometimes when you walk through this house you smell flowers.
Real quick, after hearing everything you heard tonight, how do you feel before we get this started?
I feel like I've been here before because I've had my own experiences, but this is pretty freaky. But between the ball that we've heard about and the fact that this guy died and people having scratches on their body, this place is a real deal. They even have a way to talk to them. So I'm looking at a good scary time, and I'm gonna go home and do a little bit of reading the Bible after I get done with this.
This place has got me sufficiently creeped out. You know, I've never been in a haunted place that actually has a reputation for it. You know, I've felt things before, but I've never been inside a place that has documented cases of paranormal activity. I think it's going to be really interesting in this video.
Turn the flashlight on. Please. Francis, you ask. No.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Can you turn the flashlight off now? Let us know you're here. Thank you.
Wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. I'm still kind of skeptical about this, but I got the light of Jesus in me, so I'm good.
Praise the Lord.
That was sufficiently creepy for me, like I said earlier.
Bring those chairs. We got some chairs.
Heather.
I mean, I was right in front of the flashlight. That was kind of creepy, but hopefully we see something more to kind of...
Still skeptical, camera. Still skeptical.
So, that was cool. That was kind of fun. Camera's on. Camera's rolling.
That's crazy. Open the door.
Did anybody make
I
that
heard it
noise?
in there, but I didn't...
Anybody make that noise?
I didn't.
Somebody's knocking on the door.
Hall. Run down the hall.
Footsteps.
Walk down the hall.
Very.
Run down the hall. Walk down the hall. Run down the hall.
Very faint.
Very faint.
All right, Trey, what is your final thoughts of tonight?
Some stuff happened, like the light turned on here in the long room, and you heard a couple things on the little radio. All in all, I was satisfied. We got a little something done here. You know, nothing really shocked me, nothing really scared me, but I'm glad because nobody died. But
we had a few experiences. I'd say it's haunted. Hopefully we can come back and get more, opportunity to investigate. The flashlight turned on. We heard some things in the EVP. I'm definitely down for coming back and checking it out some more, but I think it is haunted.
Well, it was very interesting to me. You know, when we first entered the house, I was a little skeptical. I've always liked ghost stories, but I've never really experienced anything per se. I felt things. I've never really seen anything or experienced anything. First thing I saw, obviously what everybody else is probably going to say, is right here in the long room. We were all sitting at this table with the lights on, and Miss Lacey was trying to contact the spirit, and she had the flashlight laying on the desk. And she simply said, give us a sign that you're here, turn the flashlight on. She said it a couple of times, and right over there on the end of the table, the flashlight flickered on. Now, obviously, my first thought is, okay, I'm scared. I calmed myself down, thought about it, and I said, okay, maybe she turned on by herself, maybe she's trying to trick us. And then the way I saw it turn off, it made me a believer. I mean, it just kind of flickered off, like really gently, and that really freaked me out. The next thing that I saw was in the attic. I went up there, then Jay followed me, and I was just sitting up there, and Jay was headed down, I was headed down right after him, and they turned the lights off just to try to freak us out and everything, and I noticed a broom laying down. You could just barely see the top of the handle, and when they turned the lights back on, I turned my head to look over at the broom. It was standing straight up at kind of an angle, and that just really freaked me out, and I felt a cold breath or breeze or something by my ear. I'm not 100% sure about that, in the parlor while I was sitting in the rocking chair. And that's pretty much my experience of the Deason House.
It was really interesting. At first, I was kind of skeptical, and then the light turned on. I thought, oh, okay, that's something. And then the voices, that was kind of weird. Something touched my hair. I don't know what that's about. It could have just been a breeze. Could have been a spirit. Whatever it was, I was sufficiently freaked out. But I am definitely excited if we get to come back. This was really fun. Something everybody should partake in.
I mean no disrespect to anyone in their thoughts or faiths or beliefs, but so far, despite everyone else has said and what we've supposedly seen, I'm still a bit of a skeptic. So
I just want all of you to know that if you don't believe in ghosts or any type of paranormal activity or any type of supernatural phenomena, come stay at the Deason House, because this place has it. I've seen flashlights go off. I've heard voices over radio frequencies. I've witnessed some real stuff. I even saw a little ball that they brought for these kids, supposed ghost kids, to play with. I've seen it move. I mean, this place is the real deal. And I think that anyone that doubts it, I dare you to come stay at this place, because I promise you will leave here not even thinking the same thing anymore. Because I've had something touch my knee. I've had a lot of different things happen tonight, and I'm just going to tell you, it's awesome. And it'll make you not as scared to watch horror movies, and it'll also make you more inquisitive about the spiritual realm.
We want all the junior college to come out the 26th, Saturday night the 26th, 6 to 11. We will be rocking and rolling.